Sagittarius, welcome to your October of 2015 horoscope. My name is Athen. This is, of course, for Sidereal Astrology. If you're new to this form of astrology, do check the description down below because your sign might be different and you want to make sure you're watching the appropriate video. So Sagittarius, let's go and have a look. It's another very powerful month as last month was as well, September. We have a lot of important transits. I'm going to go ahead and cover them, at least the most important ones. For a more detailed look, do check your weekly horoscope where I'll go into each one in more detail. But looking at the most important ones first, I'm going to split up the month into two halves because that's how the transits sort of unfold and go from there. So the first half, we've got Saturn going into your 12th house, which is the house of spirituality, behind the scenes activities, putting in that discipline and energy, that effort and that long-term approach to your spiritual pursuits. And again, spirituality is, it's a very broad term. It's essentially connecting to things that you feel are more fulfilling on an inner level, on a gut level, whether it's your work, your relationships, career, and making sure you are getting that alone time for you to connect to creator, to the universe, however you see that peace, that presence, and trust in something larger than self. Now, when Saturn goes in here, it's usually quite constructive. So maybe it's things like meditation. Maybe it's just making sure you are taking care of things so you do have enough of that time out. It's that kind of energy where it is something serious. You do have to take it seriously. And in the result of that, in the next 2 years, once Saturn's done transiting this 12th house, you can actually see quite a bit of what you've been able to accomplish in that sphere, either working behind the scenes or, again, with your spirituality. So you got an inclination of this when Saturn was in this 12th house towards the tail end of last year and the beginning of this year. So now he's going back in there because he went retrograde, but now he's in there and he's good. He's going to stay well in there for the next 2 years. Okay, so it's 2 years of solidifying the spiritual aspects of your life. So that's going to be an important shift depending on your personal charts. You'll be feeling this over the next coming months, but all of you should be feeling that shift this month since Saturn will be going into Scorpio. So with that being said, this first half has Saturn sextiling up to this north node who has been transiting your career front. This is everything on that public level, with legacy, with basically anything you give and contribute back to the world. So all of that looks quite supportive this first half. Now, Mercury is retrograde here. Mercury is not going to go direct until the 9th. So there is a lot to be learned about your career. Maybe you guys are restructuring, redoing the career front, the legacy stuff, the public life. And all of that can certainly be implemented from the 9th onward once Mercury starts to gain steam. And what you'll notice is that there's a lot that you're learning perhaps about your life path in relation to what you're contributing and sharing and what your legacy is. And you should be quite focused on this. There's a lot of attention and energy on that 10th house with the sun here. And and a lot of this is coming from that solar eclipse energy. You guys had a solar eclipse here in your 9th house about adventure, travel. It's your house, Sagittarius. It's everything that has to do with philosophy, spirituality, wisdom, opening your horizons, whether it's literally or mentally or spiritually. And there's still a lot of activity this month, especially coming off that solar eclipse. So there were some new beginnings. Those new beginnings are continuing here. And now it's perhaps about applying this life path into something that is more about your career life path or your public life and implementing it into it. Whether you have, your career already set or whatever, it's about bringing in more of those ideas and things into your big picture legacy in life, whether it's career or otherwise. Legacy is not just things we do for profit. So that's the unfoldment of events, and you still, like I said, have a lot of energy here in this 9th house. You should be quite direct, quite assertive when it comes to your spiritual ideas or your philosophical ideas, and maybe even some of you might be traveling at this time. Some of you might be very active abroad, maybe connecting to people on the internet with Venus, or just connecting to people abroad anyways, and should be plenty of opportunities for you, again, depending on your personal chart, but should be plenty of opportunities for you to expand those horizons. So Jupiter in the 9th is all about gaining more wisdom, gaining more insight, learning more about things like, religion or astrology or spirituality, which then you can apply in all areas, all sectors of your life. So that's the big emphasis. From the 5th to the 8th, that Mars is going to be opposing up to Neptune. So it's a spiritual time for all of us, just like it was last month with all these planets opposing Neptune. So now Mars opposes Neptune. Mars, of course, rules the house of spirituality for you anyways, and also your self-expression. So when it does come to opening those horizons, maybe you don't have it all figured out. Maybe there's a lot unknown about the whole thing, and that's just the nature of Neptune in opposition to that particular part of your life. So that can be great, though, because when we don't understand things, there's a tremendous amount of ease about it. Right? It's letting Creator take the steering wheel, take control of the details and everything. And that can be very relaxing if we're open to that. And that's what this symbolizes, is a spiritual unfoldment to your life path. But it all comes from your willingness and your propensity to be open to being guided by that. That's Mars, because Mars is usually very direct, very assertive. Now, for you Sagittarians, your Mars is more of in that spiritual nature, because you guys naturally are adventurous and spiritual. Everyone's spiritual, of course, but philosophically and with your wisdom and sharing it, that allows you to understand the importance of these kinds of things. So you've got that going for you, generally speaking. Now, after that, we've got Jupiter then trining up to Pluto. Now, Pluto's been in your first house. So over the past many years, you guys should have been probably transforming your image. You guys are really transforming who you are, your identity, your goals, your ambitions in life, and all of that can be very powerful, as it has been, especially this month, because Pluto is going to be trining up to all of this life path, adventurous energy. So it starts here, at least this month, when Jupiter trines up to Pluto, and all these possibilities to open your horizons can really become something, again, depending on your personal chart, but it's very harmonious to your passions in life, your self-expression, your ideals, and there's a lot of the supportive energy when you are open to restructuring and redoing, which I think you will be with the trine, restructuring, redoing your life so that it is more adventurous, it is more in alignment with your life path, and there's more opportunities coming in regards to that, even with home and family too, since Jupiter does naturally rule your fourth house. A lot of you can find that sector quite supportive when it comes to changes in that area as well. So that's a very important transit anyways, but especially because it's your ruler. I mean, this is more changes to yourself. This is more changes to your goals and identity in a positive way, where again, you're getting rid of the old in order to make way for the new. And it's all, again, so you can have this more expansive view of life. So that's the 6th to the 16th. So it's really just the first half of the month. And then from the 10th and the 11th, Venus will be squaring up to Saturn once again. She's already been doing this a few times. So nothing different here since over the past couple months. But bring that caution and that extra attention, not caution, but conscience, that conscious attention to your routine and to your group-related activities, your friends, your 11th house and your 6th house in particular, as well as these adventurous things. Take it nice and slow. Saturn is still squaring up to all of that. It's all constructive and long-term. So think big picture, think long-term, and have that patience, and you can find this very constructive for you indeed. Now, the new moon takes place in Virgo, your 10th house. So now we come up to these new beginnings around career, which will unfold over the next coming weeks and months. So here it's a reflective time around the middle of the month. Kind of reflect and think about how to implement this 9th house energy into the career and public sort of image, or whatever it is you're doing for contribution or your legacy. And you'll find as the weeks unfold, there'll be more energy to be implemented into that. And again, it's a lot of stuff you learned with Mercury here and Mercury retrograde, and probably applying a lot of that energy as well. And it's all part of your life path, whatever it is. And I think whatever insights you did get early in the month, let's see, around the 9th, when Mercury conjoined up to that north node, that information can be a strong guidepost for you in terms of what it is that you can be implementing. But again, it's a subtle energy, and you'll get more of an inclination of that as the rest of the month unfolds. So that's the first half of the month. Now let's go ahead and shift to the different transits. From the 14th to the 19th, Mars then trines up to that Pluto. So your assertiveness and drive, I mean, for all of us, should be quite strong. But because it's your first house, it's probably extra activated. Your self-expression should be quite strong, and positive changes there with that, or anything relating to romance or children. For those of you who have children in your life, or having fun and enjoying life, can be quite profound and quite powerful. And again, it's for you to have more of that expansive view. Now, it's the trine from Pluto, but also Mars is going to be conjoining up to that Jupiter around the same time period. So when Mars goes over Jupiter, that's opportunities in those areas. Your fifth house of self-expression, creativity, and spirituality, and it could be more opportunities to continuously, expand in that ninth house. So a lot of the energy, Jupiter here is always creating that expansion, but now with the fast-moving planets all going over that Jupiter, it creates more of those openings in your life. And that can be quite motivating when we're talking about Mars. So from the 16th to the 17th, Venus then opposes up to that Neptune. So again, that same sort of idea of balancing and grounding, your spirituality and your philosophy into something that's practical and real. Neptune in the third house has been showing you the importance of applying your spirituality in a very practical way and how you can actually live it, embody it, communicate it, and share it. That's the third house too, is communications and how we think about things. So it's not about having it figured out. It's about speaking from the heart. It's about thinking from the heart, if you will. And all of that, you can find a good balance to that ninth house activity. And that's going to be an ongoing theme all month for you. All right, so let's go and look at the 23rd to the 25th. Venus then trines up to Pluto. And that's going to be quite powerful, I would say, for the routine and the community stuff. And again, more support going into that ninth house of yours. Mercury opposes up to Uranus on the 25th. And then Jupiter goes over that, or Venus goes over that Jupiter on the 25th as well. So those things relating to your routine and, again, group stuff, community things, or your technology or visions, getting that expansive view. Relationships could be quite nice for all of us, at least for you in the theme of abroad, or if you're meeting people from other countries or whatever it is, that is about new distant sort of energy to the relationships. And and seeing how your routine and health applies to all of that. Maybe even to that spiritual time, etc. Mercury opposing up to Neptune is this continuous importance of balancing the domestic life with the career life. So bring that extra attention here, where I think you're going to be focused very heavily on the career side of things with Mercury here, at least mentally speaking, and maybe even busy. You guys could be quite busy actually here. Opposing up to Uranus is a reminder that there is this importance of home and family in the domestic sense, which is where you really have that sense of freedom. You have to have things that are good in the home sector so that you can be yourself at home, you can be yourself with your family, and all of that balancing point. When you're giving the attention there to your home and family and your roots, it'll help balance out a lot of this 10th house activity. But that's going to be an ongoing theme pretty much all month, since we do have a lot of activity in both sectors. So that's pretty much it. And then we have the full moon on the 27th, which is going to be in Aries. So it's going to be your fifth house of self-expression, creativity, fun, joy, children, entrepreneurship, creative projects. Anything in those sectors that you've started over the past 6 months can come to a culmination point here. And at least an awareness of your passions this late part of the month, how you can bring those passions into your work, into your career, and see it through. So that'll be quite nice. It's always nice to have a full moon in the fifth house, and a lot of energy here for you to express yourself and create, which can be assisting all areas of your life. But I would say, especially your 12th house, spirituality, your 10th house of career, and then your 9th house of expanding those horizons. So Sagittarius, have a great month. Thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions, please do let me know. If you'd like a personal reading, click the link down at the bottom of the page, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.